Bell brings him out for round one. In black and white, southpaw Becerra. In the blue and red, the NABO featherweight champion, Juan Manuel Márquez.
Marquez holds his hands up high in a defensive posture. They're almost the top of his gloves at the top of his head. Keeps his left arm extended and produces a good jab off of that. He's very skilled, very poised for a youngster, smart in the ring. He has faced good opposition in the past, so he should be ready for this test tonight against this Panamanian.
Fighters who move and are good boxers give Marquez problems, or at least that has been the rule of thumb in the fights in which we've seen the champion. But he gets better at each and every outing. He loves nothing more than a good scrap. I tell you, when he stands in there and he finds a guy that's willing to go with him, he loves a good fight.
And he has shown that he has got hard too, because we saw him last year get dropped by
for the first time
Pinckney with a tremendous shot. I mean, it was a solid knockdown, and Marquez went down, but got up, dusted himself off, went back to business, and won the fight convincingly.
And Pinckney came in with some very fine credentials, a very fine, good fighter in this division. And Marquez took the best he had, bested him in a very fine performance.
Marquez in the current Ring Magazine ratings is ranked number 6 in the featherweight division, on the way up right now, right behind Kevin Kelly in the ring ranking.
Becerra came into this fight ranked number 7 by the IBF.
I know, but you know, I prefer reading the ratings by Ring Magazine or KO Magazine instead of all of these organizations and all of this jurisdictional chaos that has erupted in boxing as a result of the proliferation of organizations.
Yes, indeed. Jesus Chong is a champion, and half of the so-called alphabet soup that boxing has doesn't even recognize him as a legitimate top 10 contender.
It's unfortunate, the manipulation of the ratings that has gone on now has just reached the point of even being ridiculous.
Of course, you toss in the organization conflicts that are between the two, and it's quite easy to see where a guy who should be ranked among the best in the world, no matter what you're looking at, seldom gets his name mentioned or isn't even listed. Nice left-right combination. Becerra doing some nice boxing as Marquez lands a couple of solid shots.
Becerra comes here with a reputation as being a good boxer, but it appears as though he's not a big-time mover. He will sit up in front of you and prefer to use his upper body movement to get away from punches.
He's in the black, trimmed in white.
He's right in front of Marquez, though. It's a dangerous posture to be in.
Yep.
This is really study hall in this first round.
Round one of this scheduled 12-round championship go. Down goes Becerra. Hold on for just a moment. They're calling it a knockdown.
Knockdown at the end of round one, scored by Juan Manuel Márquez. He comes in, lands a right hand to the chest, another follow-up right top of the head. He bounces off the ropes, and off balance goes down. Not what you would call a devastating knockdown, but a knockdown nevertheless.
And of course, Becerra was up quickly, and they counted, and then the bell signaled the end of round number one. And it was kind of a chagrined Becerra in his corner. He was grinning while his handlers were really telling him the facts of life over there, and he had that sheepish look about him that I know had my chin hanging out in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you do that with Juan Manuel Márquez, and he'll make you pay for it. This is round two. It is scheduled for 12. Nice uppercut by Marquez, and I think he hurt Becerra with that left hand.
Yeah, it was a left uppercut. It was a little unusual punch, just a short, quick punch. Becerra looks very ill at ease to me so far. I don't know if he's jittery or what, but he looks really, at least so far, kind of overwhelmed by the whole experience here.
There's a pretty good shot thrown below the belt by Becerra, but no complaint from Marquez, and no caution or warning from the referee, Raul Caiz. Marquez looks quick tonight, Rich Morata.
As he does that uppercut, it was very quick.
Yeah.
He just kind of reached out with it, a little quick uppercut. Becerra wasn't ready for it. Becerra, of course, has never fought this kind of opposition, and I'm sure he knows all about Juan Manuel Márquez and his record.
Which includes 14 knockouts out of 20 straight victories. The first fight he ever lost, he was in his career, he was disqualified, lost at a very suspect question mark thing in his career. Since then, he's won 20 in a row.
Yeah, and he's had some very impressive victories over good opposition. I thought that last fight that he had with Agapito Sanchez was very impressive, Tom, and just a real poised, intelligent, mature performance. And nothing probably can overcome his best performance, which was last year at the Pond, that 8th-round KO of former WBA champion Julio Gervasio, which was about as flawless a performance as a fighter can put in.
I tell you, he really put him away, too. Devastating punching, and knocked Gervasio flat on his back. He was out. A very impressive showing by Marquez. This is his second title defense. Nice left and a good solid right hand behind it, thrown by the champion.
Yeah, he just snaked that right hand through the upraised arms of Becerra. That was quick.
I don't think Becerra's quick enough to get away from him, Rich.
It doesn't look like it so far, Tom. In the meantime, I think he's very worried about the Marquez power here and has really not unleashed an offensive arsenal of his own.
This is round 2 of the scheduled 12-rounder. This is Marquez's second title defense. Working to the body and to the head with round 2 coming to a close. Champion in blue and red. There's the bell, and that's the end of round number 2. And Becerra escorted back to his corner as we follow Marquez back to his father and his trainer and manager, Beristain, with his back to you. The 2 people in the ring with the champion.
Nacho Beristain, a wonderful conditioner, but a great strategist and tactician as well. I really believe that he's one of the 3 or 4 best trainers in the world today.
Over the other side of the ring, we've got Catalino, Becerra, and the people that are working with the youngster out of Panama. Not to belabor the point, but Beristain seems to have almost a father-son, great rapport relationship, especially with this young man. I don't know how he is with the rest of his fighters, but he certainly is considered, I guess, the best of all the trainers south of the border and managers. And perhaps north of the border as well, Rich.
Well, I think he's getting that reputation now north of the border. He was a secret, it seems, until a couple of years ago north of the border.
This is round number 3. It is scheduled for 12 for the NABO featherweight title. The defense of that crown by Marquez in the blue, trimmed in red. And his man down, nice solid shot. And Becerra stepping up the action here now, willing to go toe-to-toe with Marquez, and the crowd here at the Forum will love every moment of this.
Well, maybe he figures, you know, I'm getting picked apart the other way by standing back and trying to dodge the punches. Why don't I just go out and punch and let the chips fall where they may?
Becerra comes in, as we told you, ranked number 7th by the IBA in this division. And Marquez, desperate for a championship world title, slips and falls, and Raul Caiz says no knockdown. Becerra was anxious for that, but no punches were thrown when Marquez tumbled to the canvas.
Becerra had his hands up in the air. I think he wanted to kind of convince Caiz that it was a knockdown.
That's right. Becerra, a much different looking fighter in this, the 3rd round. He is coming out winging.
Yeah, and I think he's taken Marquez a little bit by surprise. He's been effective in these rushes at him.
Becerra went down from a couple of right hands at the very close of round number 1. Here we are in round number 3. Good right hand by Marquez, and he's got Becerra hurt, or maybe for just a moment dazed, but Becerra pumping away with the left hand while holding on.
It's a good thing he held on to that left hand, because you got the feeling that Marquez was about ready to really open up with those flurries. You could see the speed as he had the one hand free and throwing with the right, but once he gets both hands wailing away, he's hard to stop.
Good solid combinations by Marquez again as Becerra into a crouch, unable to defend or cover up.
Marquez now once again assuming control here. Tom, the first minute and a half, Becerra did a good job, but he caught Marquez by surprise with that bull-like rush at the start of the round, but now Marquez is ready for it, it seems like. Timing his punches better and assuming the offense once again.
Nice exchange by the 2 men. Becerra pumping a couple of left hands to the midsection of Marquez, who scored himself in that brief flurry. Becerra picking up the tempo in the third round. They lit a fire under him between rounds.
It was a headbutt, Tom.
Yeah.
It was a very bad headbutt.
It really is.
And Marquez is blown wide open.
Yep.
He's busted wide open. This fight could be over right now.
Yes, it could very well be. The doctor's coming in to take a look at it. And right over the right eye and the eyebrow. And blood really pouring down the right side of the face of...
It was a very definite headbutt. There was no mistaking that.
They have stopped the bout for a moment, and now they're allowing it to continue. Apparently, I was a bit early in that description of the headbutt. It is over in the corner of the eye, not above it. And Marquez now is like a man possessed, and there's the bell, and that's the end of round 3.
Now, Marquez needs for that 4th round to start, Tom. Don't forget to make this fight go to an official decision.
Well, that's right in the corner of the eye, Rich. I don't know how you could possibly get in there unless you had a scalpel. Really, what a tough way to... Well, Perstein is in there taking charge, and he's working diligently, of course.
There was not a point deduction in the last round because it is an accidental headbutt. Accidental, the referee will not take a point away, and that's the case here.
Remember, there was a knockdown of Becerra in round number 1, which would seem to indicate that would be a 10-8 round in favor of the champion. So if indeed they go to the 4th round and that cut doesn't allow the fight to continue, why, they'll go to the cards, and that quite probably is where it happened.
Oh, yeah, that was a real collision of the head. No doubt about it. You could see they came together there. Now, as soon as he gets the bell here, it's an advantage for Marquez, because now at this point, with the bell sounding for the 4th round, that means that it's an official fight. They would go to the scorecards if the fight has to be stopped. Had the fight been stopped in the 3rd round, Tom, it would have been a technical draw.
Yes.
He would not have gotten the win. It would not have gone to the cards.
Well, it was a revitalized Becerra who came out in that 3rd round like somebody had set his trunks on fire. And Marquez willing to meet him. And Becerra very much involved, and believe me, the fight is now on. Becerra in the black trunks, Marquez the champion in blue and red. We're in the 4th round here of this scheduled 12-round title defense.
Marquez has been in difficult situations twice in his career. The aforementioned knockdown at the hands of Daryl Pinckney, and he was trailing on scorecards against Julian Wheeler, going into the 10th round in which he stopped Wheeler in the final round. A controversial stoppage, to say the least, but nonetheless, he got it done and won by TKO.
So the young man who gets better with each and every outing, now with a problem with his right eye, in the corner of the eye, a headbutt resulting in a gash that has some blood flowing, and I tell you, Catalino Becerra almost looks like a guy who's just throwing caution to the winds. Rich feels he's going to have to get in and hurt this guy to win. Indeed, he's going to have to, and he's just really making a brawl out of it.
Yeah, he's completely turned his strategy around, Tom. From boxing, total boxing in the first 2 rounds, not a brawling.
And in fact, a case of that exhibited a moment ago, and he spun the champion around, continued the onslaught.
And I think he wants to rough up Marquez.
Boy, I tell you, he gives you every indication of doing that, no question about it.
Well, the boxing wasn't working in the first 2 rounds. I think that was a conscious decision. I'm going to go get this guy.
And he lands a solid left hand on the point of the chin of Marquez, who took it in stride.
And Marquez answered right back, landed a good shot. Keep in mind now, Becerra has won 7 in a row and has only 2 defeats in his 23 fights.
His knockout punching ability, he has 8 wins by way of KO, and Marquez has won 14 of his 20 victories have come via the knockout route. Round number 4, and there's a battle. If the fans here at the Great Western Forum love a toe-to-toe scrap, they've got one here for the NABO featherweight title.
Listen, he's backing up Juan Manuel Marquez, and he hurt him with that left hand.
Yes, he did. No question about it. I'm sure Marquez realizes now that he is in a real battle. The only knockdown came in the first round when Becerra went down in the closing moment of round number 1. We're in round number 4. And the fight is on. Thais separates the 2 men as round number 4 comes to a close. It's scheduled for 12. Don't go away.
Round 4 was marked by savage exchanges, and there's the best punch by Becerra in the fight. He had his best round, I thought, in the bout. Let me tell you, this thing's starting to turn into a pair sixer.
It has every look about it of that. No question about that. Marquez in the blue and red. In the black trimmed in white. Catalino Becerra out of Panama. I tell you, Antonio Curtis, he finds him, doesn't he?
Well, the matchmaker here at the Forum has gained a nationwide reputation for making competitive fights. And the Forum-based fighters know they've got to fight when they show up to win.
Marquez making the second defense of his NABO featherweight title. Had Becerra down at the end of round number 1. In the third round, Becerra came out like a man possessed. A headbutt resulting in a rather severe cut right in the corner of the right eye of Marquez. But so far, his corner people, Berstain and others, have done a remarkably good job, Rick.
However, Marquez is going to have to overcome the mental aura of having that cut, knowing he's bleeding, Tom, not pay attention to it, just continue on with the fight. Sometimes a guy gets cut and you see a guy fall to pieces. It happened to Chiquita Gonzalez the night he fought Rolando Pasqua here. He'd been unbeaten to that point, then he got cut and he didn't seem to know what to do after that. It nearly happened to Stevie Johnston when he won the World Championship over Jean-Baptiste Mendy over in France a couple of months ago. He was winning the fight and then suddenly got cut and he just fell apart until the late rounds. So there's a mental thing that goes on sometimes with a cut if a guy hasn't had to experience that before.
Here in round number 5, why it is a very quiet, slow round in comparison to round number 4 that was just like a backyard, back alley fight. These two guys wailing away at each other and up against the ropes and tossing each other around. And this one now has developed into I better be a little bit careful because this guy can hit.
By the same token, I'm surprised that Becerra's allowed this to happen. He had great success in the last round by bull rushing Marquez, throwing him around and firing punches and exchanges. He's gone back to boxing.
Yes, he has. Becerra somehow looks bigger than Marquez, Rich, as you watch the two of them in the ring physically.
No, he's just growing in stature each round.
Well, he is. He does have a bigger look about him. Becerra gets staggered away with a left hand and now reaches in to grab on, and he may be in trouble.
I think he's just made a real mistake in his strategy, going back to what wasn't working for him and abandoning what was working for him.
Round coming to a close. We're in round number 5. Marquez having a pretty good round, all things considered, as Rich pointed out. I tell you, Becerra was having the best of it in rounds 3 and perhaps round 4 as well, and then suddenly reverted back to rounds 1 and 2 and came away with the worst of it. Fight Night is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, reminding you that fresh beer tastes better. We're at the Great Western Forum. Don't forget on the 28th, there's a great bout coming your way for the WBO 118-pound title. Jorge Julio against Oscar Maldonado. See the people in Becerra's corner working him over, and things are pretty quiet over there. They're probably telling him, Catalino, rounds 3 and 4, not round 5. Get out there and do what you were doing 2 rounds ago. Marquez, of course, the champion, knows he's in for a battle as the bell brings him out for round number 6. It's scheduled for 12 here at the Great Western Forum.
Tom, I think that Juan Manuel Marquez assumed control again in that last round, but I think it's because Becerra allowed it to happen.
Well, he comes out with very much the same mode as he had in round number 5, Rich. Becerra, I mean, he's not forcing the action, not charging across, not trying to get, for want of a better term, physical with the champion. Looking to box with him. These two men are both 5'7", 5'8". There's only about 3/4 of a pound difference between them. Good right hand snapped in there by Marquez.
He caught the tail end of it, Becerra did. He was backing away from the punch, but I think it was still powerful enough to cause some damage.
Uppercut misses, and Marquez pays for the miss with a left hand that lands high on his forehead, thrown by Becerra.
And Becerra concentrating more on countering so far this round.
Point is being taken away from Becerra for a low blow. I didn't see that, did you?
Well, it didn't seem flagrant, and there hasn't been a low blow call before in the fight. I'm a little surprised he took a point away from him without a warning.
Yeah, Becerra's people are more than upset with that, but a point is a point taken away by Raul Cais. And of course, when points are so precious that you can't very well afford to throw them away in a fight that appears to be very close as this one is. So a point taken away from Becerra here in round number 6. Marquez in the center of the ring, nails Becerra with a right hand and another right hand. Becerra's right cheekbone beginning to swell up now, the effects of some solid shots thrown by the champion. Gets nailed with the left, comes right back with a couple of right-left combination of his own. You know, Becerra looks like he enjoys a good fight, Rich, like he'd love to be right in there. And forget about this boxing business.
Well, at least he gets his opportunities. When he forces Manuel Marquez back, he gets his chances. He's willing to take one, to throw one or two.
Exactly. Got a point taken away in this round. This round being number 6 here in the fight that is scheduled for 12. Nice crowd on hand again at the Great Western Forum. Of course, the crowd is very much in favor of the champion, Marquez. Round coming to a close. We'll be back to see about round 7 after we see about this.
Well, it was a borderline low blow that cost a point. There you see it, the left hand just below the belt line. It was over on the side. In my opinion, I don't think that warranted the taking of a point from Becerra.
Round number 7, and knowledgeable fight fans at ringside here with their admonishment to Raul Cais, who's a very fine official. How about a warning, ref? And one would have thought that perhaps a warning would have been the order of the day. There had been no obvious low blows thrown by either man that warranted a point being taken away, but Cais stepped in and did so.
And now, you know, Tom, with that being a 10-8 round, as far as I'm concerned with Marquez winning, you throw in the first round also a 10-8 round, and I've got him way ahead now.
4-point advantage, isn't it? Nice combination thrown by and landed by Becerra. Nice right-left combinations coming from the southpaw. Marquez digs a solid shot to the body, and he's warned to keep him up. Throws a right hand that lands as well. Here in round number 7 of this scheduled 12-round title defense. The champion is Marquez, his second title defense. And Becerra out of Panama, proving to be once again a solid fighter, and nice combination punches by Marquez has got Becerra not only down but in serious trouble. He's up at 8.
His legs are gone, though, Tom. Look at him.
I think he is too.
He's wobbling.
Yeah,
right
is going to stop it.
Right decision.
And with electrifying suddenness, why Marquez finally found the range, nailing Becerra with some solid left and right combinations that dropped the Panamanian flat on his butt. He was unable to get up at first, finally did get to his feet, but there was little point in letting him continue. Another very impressive victory for Marquez.
Here it comes, Tom. It came like lightning. There, look at that left uppercut. The right cross, but the left uppercut was the one that did it. It was kind of a half hook and half uppercut, almost at a 45-degree angle. Watch it right there. Just straightened him up, took his legs right away from him. That last punch was window dressing. He was already gone from the left uppercut.
The crowd watching it again in the replay, and Marquez all over his man like a free lunch. Downs Becerra and continues to roll along. That's 21 straight wins now for the NABO featherweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a time of 1 minute 31 seconds in round number 7. Our referee in charge, Raul Cais, stops the contest. The winner by way of knockout and still champion, Juan Manuel Márquez.
That's a gaudy record, 21-1. Remember the first